Hello, this is the Ashley Corinne, and I just want to do a quick video response to this video about In Quiet Desperation. And I found that book. Of course, I live in Utah, so sorry, my beard's a little itchy. I live in Utah, so it was pretty easy to get a hold of that book. I bought it, read it, and it was at a pivotal point in my life when I read this book. Um, I was going to church. I was trying to like turn my life around and get right with Jesus. Um, and so I read this book, and it's extremely tragic what happened. And I also think it's tragic that stuff like this is still happening. Even if gay or transgender people that are Mormon and hate themselves, even if they're not committing suicide, a lot of them are getting into drugs, alcohol, you know, just general suicide, or sorry, I meant to say just general depression, um, you know, self-mortification, stuff like that, self-inflicted wounds, shit like that. But most people who deal with this challenge, quote unquote, they you know usually, the worst thing that usually happens, or the most common thing that happens, is they just live an unfulfilled life. Because it's like, okay, I was married before. I was married to, or my ex-wife isn't attracted to men, and why she married me that's a whole other story. But um you know she wasn't fulfilled in the marriage. I think she just got married to have children, but I don't know. We didn't have any children then, because the reason why I say I think she married me to have children is because after we split up, then she married some other guy and got pregnant. But anyways, it's not about her, but it's like that's an example of how our when I was married to her, she just wasn't happy. She was agitated all the time, and anyways, but that's what happens, and I see it happen all the time, around here in Utah, especially, where a gay person just, marries someone like in the straight way because it's what's expected of them and shit like that. Um, but anyways, back to the book. I was reading this, and I guess technically I could be considered a lesbian, but whatever. I'm attracted to women. That's what I say. Um, but I'm transgendered, and so I identify as female. Although I don't mind having a beard and shit like that. But it's like I dealt with stuff like Stuart Mattis growing up. Depression, anxiety. You know, Feeling like I was bad and evil and shit like that. It's like that's pretty routine stuff when you're growing up as an alternative gender or sexuality in Mormonism. Um, but I read this book, and I was actually in outpatient treatment for substance abuse, and so I had the therapist. I had a few one-on-one sessions with her, and she was a lesbian. So I just, I was, open with her about myself and about my gender and stuff like that. And she was like, "Well, what's the problem then?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm Mormon, and I don't know how I can ever reconcile Mormonism with, being myself. Because if I want to be in good with the Mormons, I'm always gonna have to, be a man, and shit like that." Um, and she said something that I'll never forget. She was like, she was like, well, she was like, you can end up like Stuart Mattis, or you can decide to be yourself. She's like, you can go to church all you want. All they're gonna tell you to do is pray it away, you know, because that's the only answer that they have. Or, you know, it's that's the thing. That's the whole thing about the story of Stuart Mattis, is that it's irreconcilable. You know, it's like in Ty Mansfield. I mean, why shouldn't Ty Mansfield be with a man if that would make him happy? You know what I'm saying? Why can't two men get married in the temple? The fuck is up with that shit? Why can't two men get married secularly? The fuck is that shit? Anyways, I just think that I really liked the book. I enjoyed the book, and I guess there's a play um, called Missa Solemnis. Anyways, if you search for Stuart Mattis on YouTube, it has a little teaser preview for a play that someone did in New York. But anyways, it's a good book. It's a sad story, but I don't agree with the thesis statement of the book, which is if you're gay and Mormon, then you should just not give in to your desires and just be a good Mormon. That's what I have to say to that. You know why? Because if I would have followed that advice, I would have been like Stuart Mattis too.